Welcome to The Modern Hotelier. We're bringing you interviews with industry experts, thought leaders, and innovators who are shaping the future of hospitality. Whether you're a seasoned hotel professional or just stepping into the industry, our goal is to provide you with insights, knowledge, and trends that will empower you, the modern hotelier.
Welcome to another episode of The Modern Hotelier. We are live here at Truist Field in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Gain VIP event. And today we have Tristan joining us from Alliants. Tristan, welcome to the show. We are happy to have you, my friend.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here and nice to be in such a beautiful surrounding.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Tristan, we're going to start this off. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
I grew up between the UK and the south of France. So I had a very, very lucky childhood, playing a lot of sport, not like this. I played cricket, so slightly different. The ball bounces that, it's a bit more difficult than baseball. Yeah. We find baseball a little basic at times.
A little easy?
Yeah, so don't look later on. It might be
we'll
bad
watch it. We'll
after
watch
I've
it.
said that.
Watch it.
But,
how did growing up in between France and Europe, not Europe, London?
Actually, near Winchester.
And Paris, France. How did that shape into who you are today?
I think I was, constantly, my dad was an IBMer, so I was constantly being moved. IBM stood for I'm being moved in those days. So, we were moving all over the place. So I was constantly dropped into new schools and, new cultures. And actually, it really helped sort of, me develop in terms of being able to very quickly make friends with people, understand hospitality, actually. Yeah. So coming back to where we are today, but it really is an important skill to try and, figure out how to assimilate in a new environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and how did you, so talking about hospitality, how did you get into hospitality?
So it kind of almost happened a little bit by accident, which I think, actually when I talk to a lot of people is actually a common theme. We were actually running a services business. So when we started Alliance 15 years ago, we were running, services projects for mostly big travel companies. And then we started to look much more broadly at the industry. And I was very lucky to go and do the digital strategy for Four Seasons back in 2014 and just fell in love with it. So, fell in love with the ability to go behind the scenes, learn what was really happening and trying to understand, what really makes, a great company like Four Seasons tick. So that was the moment I think I really sort of fell in love with it.
That's great. And we were talking earlier, and you were telling me you were a pilot back in the day. Not a missile pilot like Anthony McCurry, but an actual pilot.
Yeah.
And you found yourself in a little bit of hot water. Can you tell us about what happened there?
I'm not sure I still admit it these days. But anyway, I'll go for it.
Okay.
So I used to be in the Air Force and was training as a pilot. And on the day of the big summer ball at our Air Force base, I was doing a sortie pretty much just before we were about to kick off the party. And I just happened to get total electrical failure. So my radio failed, everything failed, but the procedure for that is you come back to your home base and then fly a slightly lower circuit and waggle your wings to let them know that you can't talk to them and can you have permission to land. I may have been slightly, generous with the height allowance. So as I landed, I was met by the station commander who gave me a telling off, let's say. And but until the smile cracked in his face, and then I knew I was probably going to be okay. Yeah. It was a good excuse.
Sure, it was a good flyby like Maverick.
Totally.
That's great. So you're at Alliance now.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Alliance, what you all do for the people that might not be familiar, and a little bit more of the history as well, how Alliance got started and the background?
Yeah, so we started 15 years ago really as a services company, and we were doing, as I said, more broadly in travel, we were doing what is now called digital transformation. And, it wasn't called that back then. It was helping people get online. It was helping them distribute. Actually, we met many years ago when I was working at Travelport, and David was helping us think through the hotel strategy for those guys. And so we started that way, but we were always looking for a product. And, what was the right problem to solve in the industry? And, the more we went on, the more we realized that, the industry was really being held back by all these, systems that were in their silos. And you could never build a picture of a customer across all of those real silos that existed. So really that's how we started, looking at the product. So we started that back in 2018. We launched the first beta customer was Jumeirah. So we basically call ourselves messaging first. Not a lot of people have said mobile first for many years. We actually think messaging is a much better interface for people because, first of all, more people have messaging. The top three, apps on any download chart are always the messaging apps. So why not use what they've already got on their phone? Doesn't mean you can't help them graduate to an app later on. And then we started to wrap things around that. So an understanding of each customer that uses it. So not just the primary guest, but a profile of everyone that stays in the room. A digital itinerary, so you can actually understand what they're doing at any one point in time, and you can tailor the itinerary for the wife and the husband so they can do separate things. They don't always want to do the same things all the time. Yeah. And then during COVID, we actually launched in 2019 with Jumeirah, but then obviously our official launch was March 2020. Not the best month to choose really as a launch. So we
literally when COVID started.
Yeah, literally when COVID started. So we kind of put that on ice for a little bit while we helped sort of build out the offering. So and that's when we started doing a lot more contactless, digital wallet, digital keys. Now keys that are web provisioned, so you don't need an app. So so I think that technology has really started to evolve, and as people like Apple and Google start to invest more in the sector, people like us are able to take advantage of those technologies and really help towards the goal of that true seamless experience that we're all trying to aim for. So really that's what we do. We call ourselves a guest experience platform, but it covers really all of those different elements.
That's incredible. That sounds awesome.
Good. So you went through some of them, but take us through all the solutions that you offer to hotels.
Okay, so we would typically lead with something like messaging and concierge, typically, because they go very well together. Really, the aim there is to drive, spend per customer. So very much looking to, how you can use those solutions. If you make it easy for customers, it's amazing how much more they spend. And we've seen some amazing stats from, customers that actually engage in messaging and you put the right offers in front of them, they'll spend up to 90% more than an average customer. But that's because you make it easy. You engage them, in the process and you make it easy. So that's what the messaging and concierge go together very often, and obviously giving each guest a digital itinerary, which is part of that concierge product, and also something we call recommends, which is that sort of pre-arrival experience where you showcase really the best the hotel and the local area has to offer, each of the customers, so they can build that itinerary, prior to arrival. So that's the first bit. Then we have what we call contactless, which is contactless check-in, check-out, digital wallet, digital keys. I guess the difference on digital keys is, as I say, they're actually wallet keys rather than the Bluetooth keys that actually a lot of people have had for a long while. And I don't know about you, but I could never make it work in the lift.
Never.
Or elevator, sorry.
Yeah.
So, I find that extremely frustrating. And the digital wallet essentially tokenizes, so you can tokenize people's card across the whole portfolio. So, and then, so you can offer that sort of seamless brand experience that people are really after. And then obviously behind that, we've got a bunch of AI that feeds into all of those, as everyone does these days. But, everything from automated responses to suggested responses, so helping staff, and then into our insights modules that really help uncover, what the behavior is. So how much are people spending on scuba diving? So which is incredible at some of the top resorts. It's absolutely incredible how much people spend on some of these things.
That's great. So you mentioned you're utilizing AI. That's the hot topic that we've been talking about. Yeah. Can you dive a little bit deeper into how you are actually leveraging AI?
So we were very early starters with AI, actually. We used AI back in 2017 to do recommendation engines, so to build offers for customers. But it was way too early. The market wasn't ready for it. So we kind of put that on pause. And then obviously now you've got, OpenAI and, translations. I mean, there's so many more applications of AI than you realize, actually. And we've been using a lot of those. So, on the platform, about 11% of our messages get translated. So because of all the international travelers, you've got staff talking different languages, to the member. It doesn't, not necessarily even the local language of the hotel. So about 11% of those messages, that's using translation technology, which is all AI based. So that's one area. Second area is really around responses to inbound messages. So what we've been doing for a long time now is suggested responses. So we use AI, Gen AI models to essentially build those responses, and then we use something that's getting a little technical, but something called RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation. So we feed very detailed information about certain topics so that it has a higher chance really of answering the guest's query or question. Way more specific. And if you look at AI, one of the problems obviously is hallucination, and it can make things up. So it puts those guardrails around that. So, and you can look at the confidence levels to make sure that you've got to be pretty confident before you'll auto respond. Otherwise, you can escalate it to humans. And when we do that, we use categorization algorithms to say that should go to X department or Y department. So we use it for a number of things. In the background, we're also using it to summarize all the different interactions with customers. So you can get a snapshot of everything that's happened with a particular customer. And then obviously in the reporting side, and the bit that probably is undervalued right now is the sentiment analysis, which is you can actually see the sentiment of customers real time. So because as they engage with you, you can see the intent of that message, whether it's positive, negative. So you can get real time stats, and we have escalations that kick in when certain things are obviously below the service levels you're trying to achieve.
Do you customize those levels?
Yeah, we have confidence levels behind the scenes that, so we tune it essentially to say X level is acceptable to auto-respond, X level is an escalation. So you can start to see, all of those things. So and I think the applications are, going to be many, many more, way more than we've even started now. We're working on things like suggested itineraries that take. So, we talk about issues with AI. You've got to have the right data to be able to, and you have to have that foundation to be able to do it. So we're using it essentially with an understanding of the customer, with their profile, and obviously all of their conversation history. So there's a lot of information that you can glean from that. Secondly, then the context of their stay. So because we have the digital itinerary, we're able to know what they're doing when. So don't say, hey, suggest a restaurant for tomorrow night when they've already got a booking. So you need to understand the context. And then the final element is access to content. So not just publicly available content, but also what are all those amazing experiences that the hotel has and the concierge has curated that you can then start to showcase and match, to each of the guests. So it's really important to understand all three of those. So that suggested itinerary and responses are all things that we're working on right now.
That's incredible. Well, Tristan, we appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us for a little bit. This was great to learn more about you and Alliance, and I hope you don't do any flybys anytime soon. I'll say that.
I hung up my boots a long time ago, so
that's good. No.
I'd be pretty dangerous these days. So,
well, that's great. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Great to see you. Finally, long time, man.
Yeah, it's been way too long.
Yeah.
So,
all right, cool.
Great.
Now we have Alberto Santana joining us from Alliants. Welcome, Alberto. How's your first day at High Tech going?
It's great. It's actually my second day. I was here nice and early yesterday. I wanted to hear from important folks in our industry, hear what people have to say about AI. AI for me, by the way, this whole AI, I like saying it's a lowercase L. So maybe they're talking about Al, but I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I'm going with for now.
You're a pretty popular guy, aren't you?
I'm a pretty popular guy, apparently.
So, Alberto, where did you grow up?
I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida. So you know what that means. My parents are Cuban. So hablo español, soy cubano como el azúcar, things like that.
Absolutely. How did growing up in Florida kind of shape who you are today?
Wow, I love Miami, and Miami's a special place to me. When I grew up in the neighborhood I grew up in, people don't believe this. We were like the Cuban family in the neighborhood. Everyone else was, good old Florida cracker, and a good Florida cracker. Well, it's a well-known term, right? It's about the original cowboys with their whips. And growing up in Miami, you grow up in this really interesting way, especially if you grew up the way I did in a Cuban house. I can tell you all the words to Celia Cruz's Abusadora, and I can tell you a little bit about Waylon Jennings as well. Or, I can sing Stairway to Heaven. So you grow up in this very
You wanna take the floor and sing?
Americana world, if you would. I don't want to, no, let me tell you something. Singing isn't my forte.
Okay.
We'll just put it there.
Well, the floor is yours if you want it.
I appreciate it.
So how did you get into hospitality?
I was really fortunate. So I actually went to a high school called Southwest High in Miami, Florida. And amongst the graduates there was a gentleman named Luis Segredo. He started a company called MTech. And I know Luis Segredo from back in the high school days, and we have a lot of mutual friends. And I used to be in the shipping business, like a lot of people in Miami. And they called me in. They go, "Hey, we started this company. What do you know about hotels?" I go, "Well, I've parked cars in hotels before, and I certainly enjoy staying there." And they go, "Would you like to join our team here?" And I was able to get into this early on, right into the tech part of the business, and really start the company that created hot sauce, if you would.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
It's really exciting. It was an incredible opportunity.
That's great.
Okay, so you're a big music guy.
I
We've
do
chatted
love-
about music a few times.
Yes.
What is A, your favorite music venue? And then
Okay.
B, what's a recent concert that you've been to that you've really enjoyed?
My favorite music venue. My favorite music venue. Did I say revenue?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
We're all thinking
Right,
about
why are
this
we not
this
thinking about
week.
the same
Yeah.
thing? So my favorite music venue is what I've seen on TV. I've always wanted to go to Red Rock for a concert. We talked about this
We
once,
did,
right?
we did.
I've always wanted to go there. I haven't been there yet. I like little, small places, though. I like a good outdoor amphitheater, but I do like a nice private venue as well. I would say that the best concert I ever went to, I saw a bunch of Cuban all-stars. I saw Cachao. I saw Generoso Jimenez, and you may not know who these people are. These are classics. They did a benefit concert in Miami at a little church called the Manuel Artime Theater. And to me, that was just an amazing place to just watch a great show. I also saw Thievery Corporation there. So that was actually pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Cool. Yeah, the Sphere, is that on your bucket list as well?
The Sphere is 100% on my bucket list. I got to check it out. Though I will tell you, I like getting immersed in the music. I don't really like to hold up my camera the whole time. I kind of just like to watch what's going on, but I got a feeling that place is going to drive my mind into a different place. But I'm looking forward to it. I will say that.
So you guys are what's driving the expansion in the Americas for you guys?
Wow. So Alliance has been around for 15 years now, and we've done an incredible job as a company of being able to do bespoke work for a lot of different really good hotel companies. And we've gotten into a good position right now where we feel what we do from a guest engagement standpoint, the industry's ready for it. And so I joined the organization. The culture here is just phenomenal. And I joined the organization because we know this market, I mean, it's an important market. Let's just be for brass tacks, right? And it's somewhere we want to continue to grow. And I've been fortunate enough to have always been in this market and really globally. So we have a good opportunity right here with what we're offering to be able to bring something to the industry that makes people start thinking about taking it personally, right? Because we talk about personalization, but you got to take it personally. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. So this is a perfect time for us to really come into the market and try to bring a new way of thinking about old problems.
And I feel like we see new guest experience software popping up all the time. And, your competitors, there's a lot out there. What really sets Alliance apart from the rest of the guest experience softwares out there?
I would say that the one thing is our experience. We have a lot of hoteliers that are part of our organization. We've been involved in watching what's happening in the market, looking at collecting data and what data we collect where to help give informed decisions to the users at the property level. You have to make it easy for the people that work there to create a personalized experience. It's one thing to go to a report. It's one thing to pull out an arrivals report. It's a whole thing. There's so many different ways for us to gather and look at information. But when we can put it in somebody's face, when they can actually interact with this daily and they're learning a lot about that customer, this is a really interesting moment for us to just really attack the market a bit differently, if you would.
Sure, absolutely. And what gaps are you seeing on the guest experience side of things, and how are you filling those gaps?
I think right now what we're seeing is that there is an opportunity to collect and communicate with customers at the right time. I think a lot of us, quite frankly, I'm a traveler, right? I spend 120, 130 nights a year traveling. And it's not just from a business standpoint. I just enjoy travel. And what I notice is that we're all paying more for everything. Every single one of us is paying more. And as we pay more, we're expecting more, right? We're expecting more. And I think there's a gap right now in terms of, all right, well, I'm booking my room. I'm booking 2-3 months out, especially if I'm going with my family. And you're already trying to upsell me something at the booking moment. Right? And I'm like, well, this isn't the right time. I'm already out $3,000 and I haven't gone on this trip yet, right? Now, if you catch me though, on the plane, as I'm getting off that plane, if you start telling me, hey, why are you here? You're here with the kids, but what are you trying to do? Oh, I'm trying to go hiking. Hey, how about all these other things you can be doing while you're hiking? And you don't have to ask me about the price. To me, I liken this like when you go to a restaurant. What are today's specials? Nobody asks the price, right? You just go, oh my God, I really like gorgonzola. I want the gorgonzola. How'd you know I like that? I'm interested. I want to take advantage of this. And to me, there's so many opportunities to capture what is it that I'm going on this trip for? What is it that I'm trying to do here? I'm not on a business trip. I'm with my family. That's a different Alberto Santana. I'm on a business trip. Again, that's a different Alberto Santana. I'm with the family. It's all about my family. I am secondary to that. So I have a great little story about it, if you don't mind me sharing. I had to call a hotel once, and I had to change the time that I was arriving. I wanted to tell them, hey, I'm getting there late. I was driving all the way to the Panhandle. I was driving to Destin, Florida. I'm a Miami, Florida boy. I've never been to Destin.
And that's a long drive.
It's a long drive. It's a long drive. That's right. And my nephew graduated from Florida State. And I said, great. By the way, I'm super proud. I love FIU. That's my alma mater, right? I love the U because I grew up in Miami, Florida. FSU, but whatever, I still love it. My nephews go there. That's fine. I'm a big fan of Bobby Bowden, who wasn't. Anyway, so I get to Destin, Florida. I call them up first. I say, hey, listen, I'm going to run a little late. Oh, are you coming in for something special? I go, well, it's my daughter's birthday, and she likes the beach. We want to celebrate at the beach. Oh, what's your daughter's name? And would you like a cake in the room? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds amazing. There's nothing like, I still have the picture to this day. It says, happy birthday, Mariana, which is my youngest daughter's name. She walks into the room. She goes, Daddy, I got a cake. And I'm like, look at this. By the way, never asked how much it was going to cost. Never asked if I was going to get billed for it. I was like, cake? Little girl's birthday. Yeah, let's do this. And that moment is priceless. I'll never forget it. And shout out to the Henderson Beach Resort for making that happen. And it was somebody who took the time to ask the question, what are you coming in for? What are you doing? And there's so many opportunities that I think are missed in our industry. And I think this is a perfect example of somebody capturing a moment like that and making it special, making it memorable.
It's a great story. Yeah, good story.
Well, this has been another episode of the Modern Hotelier live from Truist Field in Charlotte, North Carolina. Alberto, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now you get to go and have some fun and go take some batting practice.
Can I say I'm looking at this right now and I'm reliving 1997 and Livan Hernandez winning the World Series here, and I'm like, Castro no happy, but Miami happy. This is amazing right now.
Are you going yard?
No, I wish I had that. I wish I had that ability still. I can tell you that. Thank you.
There we go. Well, this is good. Thank you.
That was great.
You made it to the end of The Modern Hotelier. Thanks for listening. The Modern Hotelier is produced by Make More Media. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you know a guest or sponsor that would be a good fit, feel free to email us at hello@themodernhotelier.com. If you'd like to get some Modern Hotelier merch, click the merch button on modernhotelier.com or click the link below. Thanks and have a great day.